Alright, today we're doing distributing and combining with rational numbers. So for this, you will need a calculator. If you do not have a calculator, then follow along with me and you can do your practice problems at home. Just because life will be much easier with a calculator on this one. Okay, now we've done both of these different things. Oh, my table's sticky. Like my shoe after stepping on gum. Okay, so we have done distributing and combining like terms. So neither of these are new. The only new thing is now instead of doing them with integers, we're going to do them with rational numbers. Remember, integers are like whole numbers, positive or negative, and rational numbers are fractions and decimals, positive or negative. So we have a few things to remember here. One is do not let the fractions scare you. For some reason, kids are always terrified of fractions. Don't be. Okay, fractions are not hard. If you remember in your calculator, right here, N over D is numerator over denominator. That's your fractions button. Okay, don't be scared of the fractions. Now, step 2 is to circle what you're going to distribute. So come over here, and here we're going to circle the negative 1/2. Okay, you have your negative 1/2. Circle what you're going to distribute. And then you need to draw the arrows to show what you need to multiply. And another word for this is your Santa hat. I'm going to go close my door real quick, because I can hear the cleaner and it's obnoxious. I'm going to go close that. No one wants to hear that. Okay, so now we need to draw our arrows. You're going to have one Santa hat, and you have negative 1/2 times 6. Remember, you cannot put variables in here. I know you can figure out how to put a letter, but that's not the same thing. So you have negative fraction button 1/2 times 6, negative 3. So right here I'm going to put negative 3, and then I'm going to come and add my variable. Do you see how I add the variable second? Don't put it in your calculator. Next, you're going to draw your second Santa hat. Remember, you always need 2. And you have negative 1/2 times, and then this is a positive 4 times positive 4, negative 2. Okay, and then you need to bring the sign down. Bring down the sign. Okay. Cross that off. Bring down the sign. If you chose to bring down the positive and you have it negative 3n plus negative 2, that's fine too. It's the same thing. Either way, that 2 is a negative and that 3 is negative. I just think this is an easier way of writing it. Okay, now. Oh, you can't even see the whole thing. Let me zoom out a little and see if that helps. Yeah, there we go. Write an equivalent expression by combining like terms. An equivalent expression means the same or equal to. It's just another way of writing it. By combining like terms. So the first step is to cross out all positive sides and double negatives. So cross out your positives, and I don't see any double negatives. 2 is to circle each number and the sign and or variable attached to it. Okay, so now we're going to go through, and this is a 3/4 y, this is a 12, this is a -1/2, and this is a -6. Don't forget that sign. And 3 is to use a family T to combine the same terms. Family T. So we have our family T here. We have y's and whole numbers. We have 3/4 y. Don't forget your variable. 12. We have -1/2 y. And we have -6. Now, you are adding. Whenever you see a family T, you are adding these together. So you have 3/4, arrow over, plus -1/2. And that's positive 1/4. So you have 1/4 y. And then you have 12 plus -6 is 6. And it's a positive 6, so it's going to be plus. Okay, now we have 3 we're going to do together, and then 3 you're going to do as practice. So, first of all, let's see if there's anything to distribute. On number 1, I see nothing to distribute. You know if you have to distribute because you'll see parentheses. But right here I see no parentheses. So I'm going to go straight to my family T. X's and whole numbers. I have cross out that positive so I don't get confused. I have 2.5x. I have 4.3x. And then I have -5. So I can tell you right now that -5 is going to come straight down because it's nothing to add it to. And then you just have to add these up. I don't even need a calculator for this. 5 plus 3 is going to be 0.8x. 4 plus 2 is 6. So it's going to be 6.8x minus 5. 2. I see no parentheses, which means I don't have to distribute. And the next is the family T. I have S's and whole numbers. So now I'm going to go through and circle these, because that's a lot of numbers. I have 1/2 S. I have -4. I have 3/4 S. I have 1/8. And then I have -3S. Make sure those negatives go with the number after them. If you see a minus sign, the minus makes that number negative. Do not forget that. Okay, so I have 1/2 S, -4, 3/4 S, 1/8, and -3S. Okay, this is the easy part. Now you just have to add it up. There you go. 1/2 plus 3/4 plus -3. Enter. -7/4 or -1.75. Doesn't matter. I'm going to leave it -7/4 S. But if you put -1.75, that's right too. Now I have -4 plus 1/8 equals -31/8. You could have also written -3.875. Either way is right. Okay, now on number 3, I do see parentheses. Do you see those parentheses? I see those parentheses, which means you need to distribute. Let me get that calculator out of the way. Distribute. Okay, so I'm going to circle the number I'm distributing and draw my arrows. Even I, to this day, still draw my arrows because it's helpful. Okay, now I have 3/4 times 8, just 6. Add your variable. Remember, your variable comes after. And then you have to draw a second one. You should always have 2. And you have 3/4 times positive 12, which gives you a positive 9. And I don't see any variable. Plus 3/8. Now that I've distributed, I don't see any parentheses. So now I'm going to go straight into combining like terms. So I have my p's and I have my whole numbers. I have 6p right there. I have positive 9. And I have positive 3/8. I have all positives, no negatives in this problem. So I know my 6p is going to stay the same. 6p. And now I have 9 plus 3/8. Plus 75/8. Another way of writing that would be, I'll write it here. You could have 6p plus 9 and 3/8. So if you wrote it like that, that's correct too. But this way just tends to be how most people write it. But they're both right. Okay, now you have 3 practice problems. They are all similar to the ones above them. And I did that to help you out a little bit. Like I said, if you would like to wait till you have your calculator and do it in class tomorrow, that's fine, but it should be done right after bell work because I'm still going to be checking your notes. Sounds great. Good luck.